The paint is original. It's in decent shape, so he'll touch up the paint. He's doing some other restoration, but the interior is a mess. We just had the top redone, so the vinyl top is all redone. But we're going to be doing the interior, or having it done. And the problem is, 79 Lincoln Versailles is not a very popular car. To find parts is impossible to find parts. And so the trim was in awful condition, and the dash, the pieces, the wood grain I'm going to redo, but the plastic wood grain dash parts were broken. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix those. Alright, I've got these parts all cleaned up, scraped off all the adhesive, got it pretty well clean. I'm going to go ahead and start the process of welding these pieces back together, plastic welding, and we will start with this main piece here. I've got to get this aligned and fit it back together here, and I'll tack it in first. Well, there we go. See if I can hold this here and tack it. I went ahead and scraped the areas where I'm going to be welding, so it doesn't have the paint being a contaminant in the weld. This is going to be kind of hard with got a second set of hands here. 43 years old this plastic is, and so it definitely has issues now, breaking apart. If I can hold this together long enough to tack it here, what I do is I push it through. I don't know if you can see that or not, and melt it together, pushing it through. And I use the tip that has the point and also a flat edge that I can smooth it out. And then we'll go ahead and see if I can do this without, I tell you, it's be nice to have another set of hands. I'll go ahead and tack this down here, see if we can get this to hold together long enough to weld it. This is going to be a real difficult project, because I've got a lot of detail work, a lot of fill work. I have to grind it and sand it, and oh, it's just going to be a lot of fun. But it's doable. Okay, keep tacking it here. I push it about maybe 3/4 the way through, but just go along the crack and push it through so that it tacks it. Okay, see it held together there? Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to try to tack it up here. This piece up here. And I don't know if you can see this or not. What is this? Poke it through in there, and it creates a tack weld. And then we'll come back and fill it with the zip ties. And this one I'm going to have to do the sanding and detail work on the front side. The back side I don't have to, and I will weld the back side and build it up a little bit. So it's I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Okay, gently. And go ahead and do some tack welding on this side. Just go along the crack and push it through. Not all the way through, but you know, about 3/4 way through. And then we'll do some fill work here. We'll tack it here. This soldered iron is adjustable wattage on it, so I've got it cranked up to all the way to 60 watts. You can get them with the adjustable heat settings, which is kind of nice. And this one came with multiple tips, and this one has a point and then flat, so I can take the flat and I can smooth it out, and then the point I can do what I'm doing right now with the tacking. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and on the back side first is start adding the zip ties. Now that I've got it tacked, see it's holding together, and see if you can see this here. I created those holes there And I'm going to do is start melting in the black zip tie in and fill those holes. I pushed it through, created a tack. And I can fill that those holes now with zip tie material, and then take the flat part of the iron and just smooth it out like that. And then on the back, we're not going to have to worry about sanding it down. I'll leave it to build up a little bit, just to kind of give it some reinforcement. Okay, there's that. And I don't know if you can see this or not. We'll just do the same here. Go ahead and just put this in there. Come back and smooth it out a little bit and see if I need to put any more in, which it looks like I do a little bit here. Like I did, I scraped the paint away from the areas that I'm welding, so you know, a little bit of paint gets mixed in around the edges, it's fine, but the main part, okay, that looks really good. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that weld is finished on the back of that one. So this is going to be a little harder for you to see, but I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. Yeah, I use the black zip ties all the time in my work. They're UV protected compared to the clear or the white ones. And so I have these on hand. You can use the white ones if you want, but I think the black is a little bit better. I have no proof of that, but it's just I know that they're better quality in the fact that they're UV protected, but I don't think that makes any difference in the welding process. But being we've got black plastic on black zip ties, seem to blend in nicely. Okay, I'm going to smooth this out, and then and I won't do the whole thing in front of the camera. I'm going to do, I got a lot to do here. I'm going to show you some other stuff that we're going to do. It's going to be kind of tricky. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come back to that later. At least it's together, it's holding. I don't know if you can see this or not. This area here, I'll have to fill all that in, fill this in, fill in across here, build this up here. Over here, I'm gonna, it's just a lot of filling work there. So I will get that a little bit later, but I want to show you something that that I got to do, and this is something that I'm not real experienced at, but is actually not just welding, but I don't know if you can see this or not. There we go. My dad had cut this out to put in a different clock. This was a clock right here, and it went out, and he went ahead and put in a digital clock, but he had to trim this down here, and he didn't do a really clean job, but he's going to put the other clock back in. Maybe try to get that fixed and put it back in, and then make it look original. So now I got to build this back up with zip tie material, and this is going to be tricky. I don't know. We'll do that in a second. I'll show you how, but I'm going to first, I got a break here. Okay, it's broken right here. You can see that wiggling. Okay, I'm going to tack that and get that welded. See if I can hold it together with my, here we go. And this plastic is not the black plastic, this is a yellow plastic, so or yellowish color. I don't know if it's the same quality or not, but we'll find out how it melts. I'm having a hard time holding it together while trying to tack it. There we go. See if how this works. because this will tell me if I can actually build that up over there with the added material. It melts a little differently. Well, we'll find out here. Okay. I'm pushing it through, seeing if that's going to hold. Okay. All right, let's see if the black zip tie will actually fill that. And blend in with the other plastic. Not only does it have to fill it, it has to be able to bond to the parent material. And this is a little different plastic than the other pieces, which are the black plastic. It's interesting, they used on the same dash 2 different types of plastic, and don't know why. I don't know if there's anybody that can tell me. Looks like this is sticking to the parent material. I'm trying to smooth it out so I don't have to do as much sanding and grinding, because it's going to be kind of hard to get in there and do the detail work, but small files, and it should work. Let me just get a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to go to the back here and get the back side. Okay. Let's see if this will work. It's a beautiful day today. We got Central California, and middle of January, and we've got t-shirt weather right now, which is unusual. But 65 degrees today. It's I don't know, other places in the country maybe a lot colder, definitely a lot colder than what we have right now. Well, I tell you, oh, I see what's going on. There is a piece of silicone that's that was causing some issues there. Don't know where that came from, but probably someone had attempted to repair that crack with silicone. Tell you what, these types of plastic are really difficult to use glues and adhesives to fix cracks, especially the polyethylene plastics. Nothing really sticks to them. The only way to fix plastics like polyethylene is to weld. I have 3 kayaks, and the only way to fix cracks is to weld them. You can't put glues on them. It's a polyethylene plastic. You just can't glue it. Nothing sticks to it. Okay, I'm going to come back to that later, but I got the back side tacked, the front side tacked, and it's pretty strong. So I know that is. I wanted to experiment with that first because this is a different kind of plastic, and so in order to do this repair, I had to know if that's going to work. This is going to take me a while, so we'll do part of it, and then you get the idea. And then, so what I'm going to do is try to start building up the edges and just start creating a new. Take the zip tie, melt it into the edge. Okay, that's different melting speeds here. It definitely is different than that black plastic, the way it melts. It does melt, but it has a different temperature melting point. So, then the zip tie melts faster than the actual parent material. But it seems to be that once it's melted together, I can tell by that other weld I did there, I know that it's bonded together because it wouldn't have held together like that. So I just wanted to test that to see if this is going to work. And sure enough, it looks like it will. It's got to make sure that it melts into that parent material. Boy, this is going to take a while. Once I get that first edge done, then I'm going zip tie to zip tie melting, and it'll go a lot better. But this first pass is going to take a while to get it melted into that parent material correctly. And it's working. There'll be a lot of detailed sanding and contouring. I'll show a little bit of that, but it's going to be a long process, and I can't show everything on the video because it'll just be too long. I just want to get you the general idea of what you can do with the plastic welding. I don't know if you checked out my first video. I did this is a 79 Lincoln Versailles, and 43-year-old plastic parts are just broken apart, and my dad's restoring it, and we need to restore, do the interior upholstery, but all the plastic components are just breaking apart. And so I told him I would go ahead and do this part of it because it's something he doesn't do. He's having the upholstery work done. He'll have that done. So anyway, my first video I showed you the redoing the arm rests on the door panels. They were really, especially the driver's side, was really broken apart, and I got ahead and welded that all together after everything's cleaned up. Welded it together, it came out great, and then I reinforced it with some 1/8 inch plate steel. And if you check out that first video, you'll see how that came out. It came out really nice. And now we're doing the dash instrument panel pieces here. After this video, I'm going to have a video on redoing the paint and all the vinyl work. It's all wood grain vinyl, and so I'm going to repaint these parts with the chrome paint and get it all detailed out and put the vinyl on there and get it to where it'll be ready to put back in and look new again. So I got the last video and this video showing you how to weld the plastic parts together. Okay, you can see I'm building that edge across there, melted into the parent material. I'm almost got my first pass done, and then it'll go quicker from there. And not worried about buildup, because I'm going to be sanding it down, and I'll smooth it out a little bit, and then I'll sand it and contour it and everything. The other thing is, you just can't find, like my dad restored a 65 Mustang, and we were talking about that, and you can find parts for those. They're all over the place, you know. But a 79 Lincoln Versailles is just not out there. I mean, you can find a few cars here and there, parts cars, but it's just very, very difficult. Okay, so that first pass, I got it in there. We can come back and smooth out the zip tie material just a little bit, so we don't have to have as much heavy sanding. And it looks like that stuck really well. So this looks like it's going to work. I'll do more work on getting that smoothed out later. Okay, I got that first pass. I'm going to go ahead and do a second pass real quickly here. And the idea is, well, we got that front edge stuck to the parent material. We're going to build it up, get it tacked on the edges here, keep going back until it goes back. So we're going to have this surface and this surface here, kind of like an L shape. It's got to be built up, and then I got to grind it and sand it. Not grinding is not the right word. Got to very, very gently. Probably my Dremel tool is going to be the ticket for detailing this out. That and some small files.
I pray that you are blessed and that you know Him who is the author of life.